What a difference a few days can make. We went from a record high on Tuesday of 85 degrees to today, snowy, slushy, and pretty cold out there. Just your typical spring week in Colorado.
Most of the Front Range saw temperatures drop more than 40 degrees in 24 hours. And Danielle, those temperatures are going to stay below freezing all night.
Yes, they are. You guys, this is just like a little blast of the winter season, although I feel like we saw all 4 seasons in the past 24 hours. Tonight, we still are monitoring some snowfall out there. The heaviest now across the far eastern side of the state with a little bit of rain and some thunderstorms mixing in around Burlington. Otherwise, as we zoom back in here to the city, almost like a donut hole across downtown Denver. To our north, some snow, and further to the south into Douglas and Elbert counties, light snowfall will continue overnight for us, even into early tomorrow morning. If you're an early riser on Saturday, 6-7 a.m., we'll be monitoring a few flurries across parts of downtown Denver and around the urban corridor. By about lunchtime, we'll look at mostly cloudy skies, some sun breaks here and there, and possibly a couple of lingering showers later in the afternoon and evening. Still going to be an unsettled start to the weekend, but I promise some sunshine is on the way. We're talking about the big dramatic drop off in our temperatures. Wow, 28 degrees cooler at this time compared to where we were at 10 o'clock yesterday. 30-degree difference off to the northeastern plains and still pretty cold up in the mountains too. We're hovering in the lower 30s off to the eastern side of the state around the metro area, 40s in Lamar and Springfield with 20s and 30s into the mountains. And again, looking ahead toward tomorrow afternoon through the evening, we'll have some clearing, a little pockets of sunshine here and there. And then the 70-degree heat, it's making a comeback, but how soon? I have the answers in a bit.
Danielle, thanks. Police in Northglenn shot and killed a suspect tonight after negotiating to get children out of the apartment they were barricaded in. Thornton and Northglenn police say a suspect barricaded himself at the Aspen Park Apartments off of Malley Drive. Police say he was wanted for violating probation on an attempted murder case. Police say there was a woman and 3 small children in the apartment with the suspect. While police tried getting the kids out, they heard gunshots in the apartment. Police say a Thornton officer hit the suspect when he opened the patio door and fired more shots. Police haven't identified the suspect tonight. It's still unclear if the woman and children were hurt. Democratic Governor Jared Polis is making Colorado a safe haven for people seeking reproductive and gender-affirming care, as neighboring states pass or consider more restrictive legislation. One of the bills protects abortion providers and patients from out-of-state investigations. It also extends protections to patients coming here for gender-affirming care. Another bill signed today outlaws deceptive practices by anti-abortion centers and prohibits them from offering the so-called abortion reversal pills. The other law expands health insurance coverage for abortions. Bordering states Wyoming and Oklahoma have passed abortion bans, and Nebraska is also considering taking up a 6-week abortion ban.
Today, the Supreme Court put a temporary hold on a ruling out of Texas that would limit access to the abortion pill mifepristone. The FDA says mifepristone is a safe way to end a pregnancy through 10 weeks. Last week's ruling from a district judge in Texas would withdraw FDA approval for the drug. Today's decision from the Supreme Court does not fully reject the ruling. It pauses it while the justices figure out what happens next. Planned Parenthood of the Rocky Mountains says it does have a plan if the court ultimately rules to restrict access, but they said it would have a big impact.
Mifepristone is used in more than half of abortion care nationwide, and taking it off the market would significantly compromise abortion access across the country, including here in Colorado, even though abortion care is protected here, even though Governor Polis signed 3 bills today to further protect access to abortion care.
The pause means for the moment, people can still get mifepristone by mail. The Biden administration is asking the court to reject the entire ruling.
Starting next month, Denver says it won't help migrants unless they've already met with immigration. The city says it has to follow federal rules to get federal funding, or it just can't afford to help anymore. Nonprofits that have worked closely with migrants say they might not have the funding or resources either if someone gets turned away from the city's resources. Here's 9 News reporter Luis De Leon.
Since we've been helping them get enrolled in school, getting after school programs, we needed to make space.
And that meant Yoli Casas happily giving up her own office.
I barely have a desk, but here it is.
She's executive director of Vive Wellness in Denver, focusing on health equity. But like several other organizations, they've spent the last several months helping the city connect hundreds of migrants from the southern border to things like housing and schools. Casa says they also helped provide therapists to the shelters.
I think it's the hardest work I've ever done in a way of emotional Physical, we can take it, but emotional, hearing, the families and the children, what they've gone through.
But this week, the city announced that they will only shelter migrants who have presented themselves to the government, whether it was at the border or further along. It goes into effect May 8th, a timeline that's not just worrying for Casas.
Well, and then hearing the news.
It's taxing emotionally.
We have to look at what we're able to do, the families that we're able to serve. That is what's hard because I see it, because right now we're against the clock.
A spokesperson for Denver's Department of Human Services told us this week that it came down to funding and a new requirement for that money, acknowledging the demand that nonprofits may face.
We do continue to urge Congress and call on Congress to provide assistance to our local community partners who, in fact, are disproportionately tasked with handling and managing what is a national humanitarian crisis.
Denver says it needs federal funding and reimbursement, but the federal government put a requirement in that they'll only help with funding if migrants are known to immigration.
I totally understand where they're coming from. We need to work together and give us more time. We don't want to have children in the street.
I also caught up with Centro Humanitario, who have been honing in on helping migrants get job opportunities and understanding their workers' rights as immigrants in Colorado. You can see a picture from one of their events recently. They also told me in a statement tonight that they're worried about the rule change because even though that organizations may be able to actually help in some way, there's a limit to how much they can do. And Alex, the city also made it known this month that those who enter the shelter system today have 30 days before they have to vacate.
All right, more obstacles that these folks have to overcome.
Yeah.
Luis, thank you.
Both candidates for Denver mayor have some powerful interests spending big money to get them elected. It's out-of-state Democratic power players for Mike Johnston in large part, and it's a lot of developers for Kelly Brough. Johnston and Brough finished first and second in the initial round of voting, and they were first and second among all the candidates in the amount spent to get them elected. Johnston had $2.2 million in support, Brough just shy of $1 million. We're talking about outside money from powerful figures and organizations who want their person in the mayor's office. So they give to independent expenditures committees. Those groups campaign for a candidate or against an opponent. The committee supporting Johnston is called Advancing Denver. Majority of the money, 86% of it, is from outside the city. The committee in support of Brough, called A Better Denver, has money from real estate, developers, and construction. 55% of those dollars are from outside the city. The committees are supposed to be completely separate from the candidates and their campaigns. There's wink, wink, nod, nod stuff, but it would be a campaign finance violation if they directly coordinated.
A man is in jail tonight after taking a Denver police officer's badge and then using it as a weapon. Police were called to a welfare check in the 600 block of North Pennsylvania Street around midnight. While an officer talked to the caller on the scene, the person who the welfare check was for came out of the building, ripped off that officer's badge, and used it to cut the officer. Denver police say the suspect injured 2 more officers who arrived on that scene to take him into custody. He's being held on suspicion of aggravated assault to a peace officer.
A volunteer for the Pueblo County Sheriff's Office is temporarily suspended because of a newly released video that shows him holding a man down while 2 other men beat him. A warning, the video is tough to watch. We're showing it to you because the video is the reason this investigation has been launched. So back in September, a man named Doug Cullison made a citizen's arrest. And a guy named Alex Montoya, who's unhoused, had allegedly punched Cullison's wife. In the video, you see Cullison take Montoya to the ground and hold him there while another man punches him. Then this other person runs in. Montoya's attorney says it's Cullison's son, Nate. He runs up, starts kicking and beating Montoya. Pueblo police arrived and noted that Montoya had blood coming from his head and his lip. Cullison told police that happened when he scraped his head on the ground when he took Montoya down with a citizen's arrest. In the police report, officers didn't appear to talk to anybody else about what happened. They gave Montoya a ticket and let him go. The Cullisons did not respond to our request for comment. Pueblo Sheriff's Office says they are reopening the case, said they had never seen this video.
It's no longer just a phone call. In Boulder, you can now live stream a 911 call to share photos and videos in real time with the dispatcher. The city launched the new technology this month. 9 News reporter Jennifer Meckles shows it how it all works.
Okay, so I have a text from 911.
A texted invite.
I'm going to go ahead and click on the link.
Straight to your phone.
And there she is.
Oh, hi, it's me.
We can initiate the chat here.
Connected directly to Boulder's 911 system on a live stream.
So we've been live with it for about a week now.
And that is Brad Riggin, the 911 communications manager.
The idea is just to get more information to our dispatchers, have an extra tool so that they can get the right resources to the right place more efficiently.
If you accept the dispatcher's invite, and you can choose, they can see and hear from your phone in real time.
You have the video and their location, and it will track them if they start moving.
And we're going to have better information on who our suspects are, what they look like.
Putting earlier eyes on the emergency situation, a wildfire location, a lost child, or a confused hiker, even a detailed suspect description.
I can think of numerous instances in which we've been on calls and or we've arrived on a call and we received the wrong information from the witness because they were caught up in the moment, the stress of the situation, and they gave us the wrong description of the suspect, and the suspect would walk right past us.
And for callers who need to stay quiet or discreet,
If they're trying to hide or not be heard, we can do that.
dispatchers can text you or even turn your phone's screen dark.
So it's a great safety feature for some of our vulnerable victims in the community.
In Boulder, 911 is now more than just a phone call.
It is going to give us real-time capability of seeing exactly what is happening in that call that we're responding to, and that's going to be crucial.
City of Boulder said this new program didn't cost them anything. It's basically just an add-on feature to a program they're already using. They've only tried it once in the past week, but the caller had bad service and the call dropped. Texting 911, that's already been around for a bit. It's only getting more popular. Boulder thinks this live stream capability will someday get higher in popularity as well. Just might take a little bit of time.
Makes sense. Are they going to help people along?
Yeah.
The dispatchers, do they have a plan to do that?
Yeah, so nobody would expect the public to say, hey, can you put me on the live stream? The idea is the dispatcher's kind of sussing out the call and can say, hey, this might be a good opportunity. Can I send you this invite? It's going to come to your phone in a text. And then the caller can say, yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, Jenny, thanks.
I've never seen anything like this before, and I was shocked and in disbelief.
Don't mess with the dinosaur. The man who took Dinger out at the knees in front of a Coors Field crowd has now turned himself in to police.
So it's my way of honoring them through accomplishments that I'm proud of.
Graduation is a big day for everyone. A new bill is guaranteeing students can celebrate in traditional clothing.
There's a sudden end to an era. Left more than 30 years of memories behind at this movie theater in Denver.